What you listening to, son?
Republicans would love for Donald Trump to not make any presidential announcements ahead of the 2022 midterms because they believe it could depress turnout and, of course, lead to Democrats retaining the House and Senate. But Donald Trump, of course, doesn't care about any of that, right? If he wants to announce he's running for president, then by God, he's going to announce it. And according to multiple sources who have spoken to NBC News, that decision, that announcement, is likely coming sooner rather than later, with two sources telling NBC News that the date of July 4th, 2022 has been circled. That's right, folks. Independence Day, the 4th of July. These people close to Trump say that's the day they expect him to make his presidential announcement. And honestly, that would make sense, right? Donald Trump has a flair for the dramatic, and what could be more dramatic than coming out on the 4th of July, Independence Day, America's birthday, and saying, America, I love you so much. What a great day to be an American, and I'm running to be the American president again. And then fireworks going off all around him, all kinds of fun theatrics. That is totally Donald Trump. Like, there's no question. That's who this guy is.
Oh, yeah.
So that makes 100% sense.
Yeah, because he's a fucking narcissist. Listen, the Donald Trump personality has been very deeply studied by various experts, psychologists, even medical doctors, neuro specialists. And the consensus has been pretty much made. No one's diagnosed him, of course. You can't do that. But they're like, listen, we've been in medical school for this long, and we've read this many textbooks, and we're familiar with these many diagnoses that we have given before. Pretty sure he's one of the worst manifestations of narcissism possible. As a matter of fact, I can't believe I'm about to fucking go over this. There's something called the Dark Triad, okay? Let's go over some shit real quick. The Dark Triad is a combination of three personality traits: narcissism, heightened sense of self-importance, Machiavellianism, manipulativeness, and psychopathy, low, perhaps even no, empathy. Many mainstream studies have shown that women generally prefer men with Dark Triad. Really? And studies have also shown this is not fully explained by men high in the Dark Triad, being more extroverted, confident, or ... Now, this is a real thing. I've seen some people meme this, but it's a real thing. Not very many people cover all three corners of the triangle. Not many people cover all three personality traits of the Dark Triad. But I'm willing to hedge my bets that Donald Trump fits in all three categories. We've seen this. I have a hair in my mouth. Ow. I got some beard in my mouth. If we could take the highlights of Donald Trump's presidential term and really break them down, we would see narcissism, we would see Machiavellianism, we would see psychopathy, we would see self-importance, we would see manipulation, we would see that he doesn't give a fuck about people, especially those who are not within his intersectional demographic and those who are not, within his close circle, i.e., fascists, theocrats, Epstein, people like this. I think it's important to go over stuff like this. No, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. Stop it. Why did you go up like that? Narcissism is characterized by grandiosity, pride, egotism, and a lack of empathy. Machiavellianism is categorized by manipulation and exploitation of others, an absence of morality, unemotional callousness, and a higher sense of self-interest, as well as self-importance. Psychopathy is characterized by continuous antisocial behavior, impulsivity, selfishness, callous and unemotional traits, and remorselessness. Him making fun of the fucking journalist, the Insurrection Act of 1807, threatening that against BLM, absolutely not giving a shit about anyone when he ends up, oh Jesus Christ, who the fuck is this? Let's debate racial segregation. Really? You want to debate racial segregation? You're not that important? But you want to debate me. Let me make you a proposition real quick. We can debate on how my dick feels inside of you. Bam. Anyways, where were we? Right, logic. The dark triad, as seen here, is used in applied psychology, especially within fields of law enforcement, clinical psychology, and business management. I swear to God, if this is what I fucking think it is, God damn it, I swear to fuck. I'm not opening anything else from you, I swear to God. Trump is a businessman. He has been for some time. People scoring high on these traits are more likely to commit crimes, cause social distress, and create severe problems for organizations, especially if they're in leadership positions. How many fucking scandals and controversies did Trump find himself in? Like, it was like one came out every fucking month or two. You know, sometimes quicker than that. Now let's go even further, okay? Remember this. 14 points of fascism. Powerful and continuing nationalism. When Donald Trump, either right before he got elected, or he was campaigning, or right when he got elected, didn't he get endorsed by the Ku Klux Klan? The Proud Boys, a absolutely fascistic militia-esque group, are big fans of his. January 6th, there was a clip that I saw today of someone who is who is a member of the NRA, who was asked multiple times, are you pro or anti-slavery? And each time, he was asked this 3 times. Really easy question. But for some reason, no comment was his answer. All 3 times.
Some people would say that flag symbolizes racism, it symbolizes slavery, and they might have some valid points there.
That's their opinion, you know, they're welcome to their opinion if they want it.
Are you pro-slavery or against slavery?
I have no comment, but thank you for the interview.
I'll give you one more chance. Pro or anti-slavery?
No comment.
I'll give you one more opportunity to say if you're pro or anti-slavery.
No comment.
All right, well, there you have it. No comment on the if you're in favor of slavery or not.
That proud Confederate flag wearing gentleman at I think it was the NRA, actually outside of the NRA conference, speaking with the good liars there, was asked multiple times if he's pro or anti-slavery. Couldn't answer the question. Also, suddenly didn't want his face on camera. It's weird how suddenly when you have to back up your horrific racist points of view, your face isn't the first thing you want on camera. Rick, I want your response first to that part, because we're going to talk about how this is generated amongst our political leaders.
How many opportunities can you possibly get for like the most layup of layup questions?
Totally.
Like this is like, hey, LeBron, here's a Fisher Price hoop. Do you want to dunk it?
My family fought side by side with it. No. So why do you carry that flag? Because this is my heritage. My family fought to save their farm under this flag. Who was working that farm? My family was. Who was working the farm? They were poor. Do you know how much a slave cost back then?
Oh, I wish I was in the land of cotton. Old times there are not forgotten. Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland. Well, I wish I was in Dixie. Hooray, hooray, In Dixieland, I'll take my stand to live and die in Dixie. Away, away, away down south in Dixie. Away, away, away down south in Dixie. Woo! God bless the Confederacy.
What does that do for you, bro?
So gave you a general who was incredible. He drank a little bit too much. You know who I'm talking about, right? So Robert E. Lee was a great general. People were there protesting the taking down of the monument of Robert E. Lee. Everybody knows that. We have a very, very important heritage and history, and whether things are good or bad, you learn from it. I agree, there were Confederate soldiers, generals, but they were done after the war in order to heal. This was a gesture of healing.
It's healing, you know, the Confederacy there. Donald Trump in support of keeping Confederate monuments up as a reminder constantly of our history that they don't want to teach anyone.
How much support do you think Trump gets from the NRA and those who are members of it? I don't know. Maybe you should Google that. Disdain for human rights. Now, don't get me wrong. Was I a huge fan of the rioting and looting when it was happening? No. But I understand it. And I understand what was happening. And they tried every other time. They tried kneeling at fucking football games. They tried press conferences with celebrities. They tried peaceful protest, you know, with just signs and megaphones. They tried fucking slam poetry. You name it. They tried every other fucking avenue. And they were like, no, you can't do that. No, not like that. No, not like that. No, that's not the right way to do it. I don't like that you did that. That's offensive to me, but I'm totally not a fucking triggered ass snowflake. I'm a conservative with family values. You know, they just, every single time, it was another fucking thing. It was another fucking excuse why they couldn't protest for fucking a redress of grievances. Grievances that afflicted their community, specifically the black community. And then when they finally lose their fucking shit, and when all of us who are allies to Black Lives Matter and to the black community, you know, we fucking lose our shit, and they're like, oh, look at these fucking Antifers. They're burning down all of our cities. No, we burned down a couple buildings, but not entire cities. I hate to break it to you. One bullet is not unloading a whole magazine. Breaking a toy isn't like slapping your kid across the face. You need to learn proportionality, motherfucker, number one. Number two, again, we tried every other way, and then we lost our shit, and then they used that against us. They obviously aren't very big fans of human rights, let alone they're always coming up with some excuse to fuck with voting rights, which is further evidence of that. So we have two down. Identification of enemies as a unifying cause. Everyone's a communist. Everyone's a groomer. Everyone's a pedophile. Everyone supports the satanic, adrenochrome addicted, pedophilic cabal of baby fucking murderers. Unless you're a right winger. Everything that, you know, Donald Trump ever did, everything that Mike Pence ever did, anything that Mike Pompeo ever did, anything that William Barr ever did, anything that Rudy Giuliani ever did, anything, no, they're as pure and as white as snow. If you're a pussy hat liberal or a straight up anarchist or anywhere in between, you're gonna destroy America. So now we have three down. Supremacy of the military. Do we really need to go over that? Do we need to explain that? Sure, drone strikes ramped up under Obama, and then they ramped up some more under Trump. As a matter of fact, by almost 400%. It sounds like he's a big fan of the military. Rampant sexism, grab her by the pussy. Do I need to say anything else? Oh wait, no, I do. There's also a declassified court document, official court document of Jane Doe, someone who wanted to remain anonymous, no wonder they're Jane Doe, versus Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein introduced her to Trump when she was 13, and Trump fucked her. That's apparently what that's about. Yeah, yeah, he likes them real young. He likes them real young. Okay, red flag. If she wasn't my daughter, I'd probably go on a date with her. Red flag number 2. She's not really my type. She's not really my type. When it comes down to one of plenty of sexual assault allegations. Red flag number 3, along with like probably a fucking 87 more. Controlled mass media. Fox News was suckling on the Trump teat for a while, and then came One American News Network. And then came Newsmax. Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, Dave Rubin, Joe Rogan, when he got that Spotify deal, their fucking viewership ramped up. And they became more radical, incorrectly radical. I wouldn't necessarily say they control mass media, because there is MSNBC, there is CBS, there is CNN. You know, from moderate to center-left corporate media, right? But Tucker Carlson is on Fox News, and he's the number 1 show on the whole fucking thing. So, we can chalk this up to, how about not a whole point, but we can cut this in about half. We'll give this a 0.5. Obsession with national security. We could interpret this as including the border. What the fuck did he run on, and what did he fail at completing during an entire 4-year term? The Trump fucking wall. Rapists and murderers, MS-13, immigration is a huge phobia of theirs. Tucker Carlson and one of the Hydra heads of conservative thought said that basically brown people make this country dirtier. Yeah, we can go ahead and cross that off too. Religion and government intertwined. There was that time when he had protesters gassed and maced to walk through this courtyard across the street to hold a Bible upside down, by the way, and really weirdly, in front of a church that he wasn't even invited to, for a photo op. Remember this? And Mike Pence is by all means and by definition a Christian supremacist. The vice president at that time. And since then, we have had people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and, you know, all of those guys talking about how we need to return to God and stuff like that, quote unquote. I could say it's pretty safe to assume at this point that they want the separation of church and state absolutely eroded, let alone the Roe v. Wade shit. Like, come on, this is Handmaid's Tale shit. Amy Coney Barrett. Corporate power protected. The Trump tax cuts, 83% of the benefits went to the top 1%, and they're permanent. At least unless they're reversed. And I can imagine they can be. But as far as anyone has anything to say about it, especially nothing will fundamentally change President Biden, he doesn't change anything. Those tax cuts are still in place. The tax cuts that people not in the 1% who got the shit end of the stick, even the shit end of the stick was temporary. Those went away. Safe to say, corporate power was protected, on top of the fact that their tax rate was lowered in his time. Labor power suppressed. Do we really need to go over this? Why do you think unionization is happening now under the Biden administration than under the Trump administration? Just think about it for a second. Disdain for the intellectuals and the arts. Republicans are so fucking scared of honest debate. They themselves are the very caricatures that they say liberals are. They're the snowflakes. They're the easily triggered ones. They're the ones who have to rely on insults and stuff. Ad homs and gish gallops. They're obsessed with owning the libs. They said that fucking COVID was a hoax, and if it's not a hoax, it's not as serious as people are making it out to be, And if I'm currently on a ventilator, dying from it in a hospital, hanging on by a thread, I'm not on death's doorstep. The fucking Grim Reaper himself has opened the door and said, "Hey man, what's up? How you doing? You want to hang out forever?" And even then, they're like, "Can I please have some ivermectin?" They hate intellectualism. They hate empiricism because it always proves them wrong. They care about being right more so than the truth. They care about being right more so than being correct. So, of course, obsession with crime and punishment. Law and order. Do I need to say anything else? Rampant cronyism and corruption. Dude, what phone call did he make to Georgia when the election wasn't going his fucking way? How many court cases were thrown out trying to overturn different states even though they wouldn't make any fucking difference there? Stop the steal. Yada, yada, yada. Which leads us to fraudulent elections. Ladies and gentlemen, NBs and beyond, Trump very easily marks off 13.5 out of 14. The first time I went through this list and was honest with myself about Trump's behavior and his rhetoric, he scored a fucking 11.5 or a 12 out of 14. In hindsight, it was more than that. This motherfucker has a 93. He has an A minus. Maybe even just an A. He's like below an A plus, 100%, good job, you get extra credit type of shit. Trump is a dark triad, pure and simple. So it's no surprise to me that if Donald Trump is going to announce another run for the presidency, that it would be on July 4th. That it would be while the country is still so severely divided. And he would take advantage of that with all the fucking grandiosity and the galore of fucking fireworks going off and shit. It's the perfect return strategy that a fucking live action role playing sociopath like Trump would fucking do. It's his MO. It's his MO. And the Republicans are gonna fucking eat it up because all they give a shit about is owning the libs. It's all they care about. Said this before and I'll say it again. They are willing to sacrifice their own civil and human rights, their own right to autonomy and sovereignty, to make sure that you suffer more. Because they know that they're going to get a little bit away with it simply because they are within that intersectional demographic that I've spoken on before. They're white, they're straight, they're Christian, they're conservative, they're middle class. They want trans people dead. They're gonna be all right. They're willing to sacrifice anything to make sure that you suffer more. It's all about owning the libs with these motherfuckers. That's all it's about. There's no policy. It's all culture war shit. There's no honesty. There's no empathy. There's no altruism. It's just, how can we make our political football team opponent hurt the most? How can we hurt other people?
He knows it's also a slow news day. You know, you don't have a lot of breaking stories happening on the 4th of July, so he would be guaranteed to carry the headlines for that day and likely the couple days after that as well. So again, strategically, brilliant idea. For the country, terrible. Absolutely just horrible. Jason Miller, by the way, one of Donald Trump's closest allies, says 4th of July ain't happening. He's definitely not doing that. And Miller, of course, is the guy that runs the social media platform Getter. But here's the thing. There has to be a reason why Donald Trump is suddenly not wanting to play this will he, won't he game anymore. Why now? I have a hypothesis here. Recently, we have seen more and more prominent Republicans, Chris Christie, Paul Ryan, come out publicly attacking Donald Trump. We have seen that happen a lot. They are trying to emerge as new leaders within whatever the Republican Party has become today.
Fascists.
So I think that plays a pretty big role in it. The other thing is that poll from the Colorado Conservative Conference this past weekend that for the second year in a row showed Ron DeSantis as the front runner for the Republican nomination. Donald Trump knows that DeSantis likely will not run if he throws his hat into the ring, as will most Republicans sit this one out if Trump is running. They've said so themselves.
Yeah.
So Trump understands there is a sense of urgency. We have voters who have also spoken to media outlets saying they're suffering from Trump fatigue. If Trump doesn't make the move soon, all he risks is people getting tired of him and then not caring that he makes the announcement. If he makes the announcement now, yes, it would definitely hurt Republicans in the midterms, but it could prevent Donald Trump from falling into the, oh man, we hate this guy trap. And yeah, I don't think him announcing he's running for president and then getting back on the TVs and social media and all that, I don't think it's going to help the Trump fatigue. But it may make people like, oh, okay, well, I guess this is why I'm seeing so much of him. He's running for president, so that makes sense. It would justify his presence to the people that are getting sick of him. So announcing it sooner rather than later does, in fact, make good political sense. If you're Donald Trump, if you're his advisors, you're probably telling him these things like, listen, dude, clock's ticking. Other Republicans are coming out. They won't run if you run. But if they throw their hat in first and these polls keep shifting, yeah, you're still ahead, but you're losing your margin of victory by the week, you need to do something soon. So that, again, my estimation is what I think is happening here. And Donald Trump may end up ruining your 4th of July celebrations, but he may also end up ruining the midterms for the Republicans this year by doing it.
Hopefully the Republicans will eat themselves like the creatures that they are.